Okay, so I have Mary J. McCullars with me, the counselor at Duran Junior High. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm going to share my screen just for a split second and show you some of the responsibilities that the Board of Ed has for y'all. I know that this is something that I've never looked at, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm not gonna read all of them, but you have 16 responsibilities that they kind of had I guess laid out for you. Obviously, you do a lot more. That's why we're interviewing different people because you have the list of things, but then you have what you actually do. So there was the two that stood out to me, just in reviewing what you do at our school, is I put that you assist teachers in identifying and interpreting problems that interfere with students' ability to learn, and that's something that I think is the most helpful to me as a teacher. And so I wanted to hear how you felt about that. And then another thing, I loved how this worded it, and I wanted to get your opinion on how you do this. But it says collaborate with the school's administration to remove barriers and provide resources to help students receive the full benefit of their education. So, with all that being said, and you can kind of look at these if you want to, but what are your job responsibilities or tasks in reality? So, you have what is listed, but what is it that you feel like you actually do on a day to day basis to help with students?
Um, I mean, really, it's kind of like whatever comes to the door. I mean, it could be a parent, it could be a child, it could be a teacher. Um, and I mean, when you go through classes in your whatever graduate program you go into, like they prepare you, but then they don't because like you never know what's going to walk through your door. So, like this past school year, we had to deal with a lot of new things that honestly, I hadn't really had to deal with before, and it was just like a snowball kind of effect. And you just have to be able to uh, what's the word? Like kind of roll with all the punches. Like you have to be able to adapt to change very fast and efficiently because again, like you never know what you're going to have to deal with that morning when
Mm-hmm.
you walk in. And I try to work with teachers and be kind of the facilitator between them and the student because when you get into a role where you're not with kids from the teaching aspect, like you see a different um you gain perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And even like with administrators, they have to deal with discipline and all the kids whenever I call them down, they're like, am I in trouble? I'm like, I don't know, I don't deal with discipline. And they just it's just a different kind of perspective that you gain. And you think about the things that are important, as a classroom teacher, like I got to get through my standards, I got to make sure that they master this. And administrators are like, I have to make sure kids are safe, I have to make sure that they're behaving. And
Mm-hmm.
the counselor is like, well, I just got to make sure that they have everything, that they're getting the work done in class, that they're getting food at home, all those things, which kind of, puts a little heaviness on us at times. But, I think it's, just like teaching, it's a calling. So if if you love it, then you kind of stick with it.
Yeah.
But all these things that are listed, we're coordinators of multiple things. And I think counselors are kind of stretched a little far where like I think everybody in education right now is stretched far. Um, but it's like we are on every committee, I feel like. um, and it is a little overwhelming at times. So it just,
Well, I
you just
think
kind of
this
have
year
to,
has been different for you because we have an assistant principal, but up
right.
until this year, you've even had to take on assistant principal type jobs.
Yeah, we're pretty much, I just call the principal and say, okay, the kid's in my office. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, but you have taken on a leadership role, like an
Right.
administrative role, until this year. What is so we've talked a little bit about this, but like the effects of COVID we're obviously still seeing, like because you touched on that we've dealt with stuff this year that you've never had to deal with, losing students, just like
Right.
crazy situations. Like, obviously we still see those effects. Is there like stuff that y'all are going to that's helping y'all with that? I know we're starting Hope Squad and stuff like that, but
Yes, we are starting Hope Squad. We have a mental health coordinator, Dion Stevens, which she's kind of a big facilitator. Like if a kid needs something, like she can find something for them. She also has like a little intern named Kinsley that I think over the summer, I know she's worked with kids in like social skills and um, stuff. Cause I know that some of the kids coming up, whether they be 504 or special ed, like some of the services that are gonna be provided, like we've never had to provide before. So,
yeah.
um, but they help. And then we have Caitlin, which is our Project Hope counselor for the secondary grade levels. But again, like their caseload is only so high. And I feel like we have more and more kids that need it. And especially, I everybody keeps hearing it, since COVID, but it really is because whatever gains these kids were making, they just went back into their shell, and now they don't know how to deal with kids. If a kid calls them a name, or if they say something bad about the kid or not even meaning to be bad, and then the kid takes it the wrong way just because they got their feelings hurt, and then they're threatening to hurt themselves. I mean, it's just like, when I was in school, like you just kind of brushed it off and didn't worry about it, but
Yeah.
kids don't know how to do that.
Yeah. So how does what you do impact student learning on a daily basis? Obviously it impacts a lot, but
Well, I have a tutoring program that I used during the first semester, because seventh grade is a very transitional year. Um, and then, if I look at the PST kids and if they are struggling, then, I might say, okay, during PE today or during homeroom, you're going to be working in my office. And sometimes they just need that quiet space where they're not beside anybody because they get so distracted,
mhm.
and they get their work done. And then I just put it in the teacher's box so that way, or I make a kid walk with them to make sure that it gets to the teacher because I don't trust some of them. They might get lost in their hungry book bag. And so
How long have you been a counselor?
I've been a counselor. Um, this will be, I think, my 8th year.
Okay. Hey Harper Jane, how have you changed like from your first year of counseling to now?
Well, my first year counseling, I was actually a K through 12 counselor. So that's just a whole nother set of interview questions there. But I think that being a first year counselor, when I became the counselor at Duran South, like I was the only one, but I had also already had 3 years under my belt at another school. So like I wasn't too intimidated, but
Mhm.
then there were other things like that I didn't have responsibilities for previously that now, like I didn't have to do EL other than just like sign for testing materials. And then when I came to Pell City, like I was the EL coordinator, and I was kind of freaking out because, I'm like, most of these parents don't even speak English. So how
Mhm.
am I supposed to, talk to them? And, we had an EL coach that, she really knew what she was doing. And I'm a by the book kind of person. Like if you give me steps 1 through 8, like I'm going to do them in that order. So, that really helped. But again, you just kind of, it's based off of experience. Like I don't care what job you have and what degree you have, the experience that you gain over the years is going to outweigh what any kind of textbook can teach you.
Yeah.
Because yes, there's scenarios, but also like until you're in that moment, like it's not the same.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for letting me interview you. and I will see you later.
Okay. All right.
Bye, Harper Jane.
Bye.
Bye.